What is up, Bitcoin entrepreneurs? My name is Chris, and I am the host of the Bitcoin Entrepreneur Show, and I'm glad you all stopped by. Right before we get into our Bitcoin topic of the day, I wanted to bring up real quick that if you are interested in all things Bitcoin, please hit the subscribe button and hit the like button for the algorithm on YouTube. And also, I recommend you join our school group. It is called the Bitcoin Entrepreneurs on the school platform. And we have a classroom full of educational materials on Bitcoin, on Go mining, and on other aspects of the Bitcoin network. I highly recommend it. You can learn a lot of things, and it's free to join. So, and you can also communicate with me daily if you're interested in it, and also communicate with all our other members. I'm trying to grow that just like I'm trying to grow this YouTube channel so we can spread the Bitcoin network. I appreciate all of the appreciation and all the support. With that being said, the Bitcoin price right now is at $78,446. And now I like to say the Bitcoin price every episode. I got this idea from the Jack Mahler's podcast. And I'll link that in the description below because I believe he is an incredible entrepreneur and CEO within the Bitcoin space. He runs the company's Strike, which is a Bitcoin-only exchange it's pretty much a financial app. They have options for Bitcoin-backed loans. They have options for Bitcoin-backed credit lines. And you can buy and sell Bitcoin on the app. Actually, you might only be able to buy right now. I'm pretty sure they're working on a sell option. But I like to make that timestamp just to see because it's super interesting to be able to track the price of Bitcoin over time on a podcast like this, because at this point we're at 78,000, and I believe that one day we will be at $1 million per Bitcoin, $10 million per Bitcoin, and potentially way higher within my lifetime, because I'm only 27 years old, and I believe within my lifetime we can get that far within the Bitcoin network because this, network is extremely powerful. And I'm going to drop why today in my Bitcoin wealth system. So the topic for this episode will be a little bit of my Bitcoin backstory plus the Bitcoin wealth system that I have kind of come up with and just set up in my own life. And I just felt like if you're going to watch me rant for a while about these Bitcoin topics, and if you're interested in these Bitcoin topics, then maybe you would be interested in hearing my backstory. I mean, you're listening to me chat every week, so I want to, give you a little rundown on some of my history. So, let's just get right into that. So my first exposure to Bitcoin was pretty much just completely out of curiosity within the make money online niche. So I graduated high school in 2017, and I was pretty much interested at that point in the make money online niche, and I started to dive deep into that, trying to learn all I could, trying to make money online. And I've been a little bit successful in terms of making money online, but nothing that is too drastic. So basically I've tried many situations on the internet to try to make money online, and I have made some money, but it's nothing too crazy, obviously. Otherwise, I would be in a different, I still wouldn't be working, because right now I do have a full-time job still, but I am through and through a Bitcoiner, and I'm working to build that up. And this is why I wanted to bring up the Bitcoin wealth system that I've created, because if Bitcoin does indeed do what I think it does, or it is going to do, then it'll be a good spot. And I wanted to share what I'm doing, because anybody out there listening, whether you have $50 a week to invest or you have $10,000 to invest somewhere, I want to be able to help anybody who wants to secure their future and they could get settled and situated in the Bitcoin network. So let's just go through this. When I graduated high school, there was a point over a summer that I was mining Bitcoin on my computer. This was this was not exactly profitable, but it was, just because of the fact that I wasn't the one paying for the internet or paying for the electricity fees at the time. I was just mining Bitcoin on my PC in my bedroom of my parents' house because I thought that it was just a fun endeavor, and I liked the idea of being able to like earn an income, make some money over the internet. So I don't exactly remember what company or how I was mining the Bitcoin. This was obviously, a good amount of years ago, almost a decade. So I don't exactly remember what I was doing, but I do know that I had a private key. And what I did with this private key is I laminated it with clear Scotch tape. And I figured that this would keep the piece of paper that I had all my private keys written down on, and I put it in a safe in my bedroom. Eventually, when I ended up moving out of my parents' house, I ended up losing those private keys. So I have no idea. There's no way to get those private keys back. I threw them out. It's been many years since then. I didn't understand the Bitcoin network back then. So clearly some mistakes were made, but I feel like it's important to talk about these mistakes because I would like to prevent other people from making the same mistakes I did, because who knows? I'm not saying there'd be millions of dollars on that, because obviously I didn't mine that much worth of Bitcoin, but potentially it could be thousands of dollars that I'm missing out on in that wallet. And then potentially tens of thousands, maybe even hundreds of thousands, who knows, over time within that wallet. So just a little tip is private keys are everything. So if you ever have to secure private keys within the Bitcoin network, treat them like gold, because Bitcoin is a better version of gold and it's digital, and it requires you to keep these private keys super safe. So that was pretty much my first initial dealings with the Bitcoin network. But obviously I didn't know how impactful it would be, because I don't know, maybe it was 2018 or 2017 or whatever, but let's just look at 2018 BTC price. Let's just see what that says. So in 2018, what is that? Is Bing stupid? Bing is absolutely stupid. Okay, let's go to Google. All right, so this is saying that in 2018, Bitcoin was around $13,500. Okay, I'm not sure why this isn't just being able to give me a solid price. Okay, that looks like that's legit. $13,500, something like that in Bitcoin. So clearly we're at the price of $78,000. Clearly that would have made some money in appreciation if I was mining on my PC back then. And I lost the private keys, so that's a bummer. But, this is just mistakes, right? This is the mistakes that you make, and you lose your BTC, and you can't really do anything about it. It teaches you discipline. It teaches you responsibility in terms of your private keys and how you're going to control and secure your Bitcoin. So that's just a little mistake I wanted to point out that I was doing, and kind of how I was introduced into Bitcoin. So my first real buy was probably somewhere around like 2019. Now, let me just caveat this with like these dates. I'm not 100% sure of these dates, right? I wasn't tracking anything at the time. I wasn't a Bitcoiner at the time. I barely knew what I was doing. So this was all speculation of me just saying, hey, I have some money. Let me just try to get in, because I was interested in making money online. And also I was interested in, becoming wealthy, right? And that sounds kind of, egotistical and like selfish, that I want to become rich. But it's like, come on, I'm working a full-time job. I have a family. I have a wife. I have a kid. I have a second kid on the way, and why wouldn't you want to set yourself up? This is the whole point of America. You want to live a better life. You want to be able to make money. You want to be able to have expenditures that aren't all debt, right? You want to be able to have money. This is how we can survive and how we can live a better life, is if we can make more money. And this is the whole point of Bitcoin, in essence, is that it's a better money. We can be prosperous as a global economy. So my first real Bitcoin buy was somewhere around 2019. I bought something like $300 to $500. I can't even barely remember. I'm just trying to give you a little bit of background on what I did. I bought it on crypto.com. I didn't really have a deep conviction of anything. I was actually terrified to put that money in there. I didn't want to lose anything. I probably dabbled in a few other cryptocurrencies, but with like small amounts, right? So I still have that $500 or $300 of Bitcoin, that initial purchase, and I know this because I ended up transferring it to my cold storage wallet, and it has appreciated a lot. So obviously I have a percentage of appreciation that shows. So my portfolio at this point in time is like 100 plus 150%, something like that. At one point it got over 200 when we were at like $125,000 Bitcoin. But yeah, this was my first real buy in Bitcoin. It was pretty much just a completely speculative thing. I thought it was just fun, and I trusted it to maybe have some impact on my life. So then I was in a low conviction phase, but throughout time I ended up, obviously buying more and buying more and buying more and getting more into the Bitcoin network, and eventually becoming a full-on Bitcoiner. So my shift in becoming a Bitcoiner happened probably somewhere around 2022, where I significantly invested more than, what I had in there. I started learning about all these different topics within money. I started learning about, economics, how money works. I'm on the side of the Austrian economic system. I started learning about money and inflation and the fiat system. And so basically at that point, I ended up starting a DCA strategy, which would mean dollar cost averaging. So you put small amounts on a regular basis. I mean, it doesn't even have to be small amounts, but you put an amount into Bitcoin on a scheduled basis. So pretty much what I do is I buy Bitcoin every single Friday, and that's my plan for the rest of my life, essentially. But I want to bring up my system so that it can help others in diversifying how they earn their Bitcoin. Not diversifying out of Bitcoin, but diversifying in how they can accumulate Bitcoin. Because in my opinion, Bitcoin is the best asset. There's nothing that even comes close to Bitcoin. So I'm not diversifying out of Bitcoin. I'd rather use the fiat to buy the Bitcoin because it's an appreciating asset, and fiat is the exact opposite of that. It's a guaranteed loss. Essentially, the US dollar is a shit coin. So really, when I started getting into high conviction was around 2022, 2023, when I made my first big investment, all the way through until pretty much right now. So 2026, we are in May the 2nd, 2026, and I have been DCAing ever since then. I have made some investments into Bitcoin, and I have made many investments into the broader markets of Bitcoin, and I'll get to that very shortly in my Bitcoin wealth system that I've come up with. So my belief is that once you become a Bitcoiner, there's no going back, because it's completely illogical to go back to a system that's broken and losing your purchasing power over time, versus a system where you transform your time and energy into an asset that you can hold for the rest of your life, which is Bitcoin. For example, I'm a big proponent of Tangem cold storage wallets. So if you look right here, that's a Tangem cold storage wallet right on my finger. It's a ring. Now, if you noticed, that's my left hand, that's my ring finger. Yes, I am married, and this is what I have been using as my wedding band. And it's important to me just because of the fact that you can take your wealth with you, no matter how much you have, to any country, any state in the United States, if that's where you are, and you still have the same amount of value and purchasing power within the Bitcoin network right on your finger. So this is a signing device, and I've gone through this in my wallets episode. A little while ago, I talked all about this. And if you're interested in the Tangent wallet, you can get 10% in my bio by using my code. So that's just something to help you out there. You don't have to, obviously, but it'll help the channel, it'll help me, and you'll also get an incredible cold storage wallet. A little caveat to that, I don't want you to make decisions based off me. I want you to make your own decisions. Don't trust, verify. That's a very important quote within the Bitcoin network. So do that, please. If you're going to buy a Tangent wallet, do your research first. Make sure it aligns with your values. I want you to buy what you buy. I don't want you to just use my referral code because I said so. If you are convinced and into it, you can get 10% off by using my code. That's all I got to say on that. So let's bring in what I call a Bitcoin wealth system. This is something that I've come up with over the years. It's just something that I've been working on building towards, because I have a idea in my head that you can kind of attack this system and build it for yourself in your own life, and you don't have to be super wealthy. You don't have to have tons of liquid money. You can do this on a DCA basis, and it's all available to everybody. There's no limitations here. Like, there are certain things within the stock market, let's say, for example, where you can't even buy in unless you have like $2,000 to start, or $5,000 to start out with, or something like that. With the Bitcoin network, anybody can join. You can join with $1 today. And yeah, back to the Tangent. I lost my point there, but back to the Tangent wallet. I got my mother a Tangent wallet. She got the 3-card set, and I used my code, gave her 10% off, and I get paid a little bit from that. So it's kind of a win-win, right? But also, now my mother is sovereign. Okay, she's put her savings into Bitcoin. I've helped her do that. It's on the blockchain. It's safe and sound. Cold storage wallet on Tangent. So even someone like my mom, who is a boomer, is participating in the Bitcoin network now, and I think that's awesome. And I think that there are many options for boomers, even though they may think that they don't know anything about computers, don't know anything about this monetary system, and they think it's all internet, funny money, and whatever. But this is the whole point of this channel: is I want to educate people. I want to be able to have people, broaden out the network in their own way. And Bitcoin entrepreneurs is basically something that I'm trying to build here, promoting the Bitcoin network, but also showing you that you can create these systems on Bitcoin, and it's better for everybody. This is a win-win scenario for everybody. The Bitcoin network is an incredible invention, or you can even classify it as a discovery by Satoshi Nakamoto. We should appreciate this. In my opinion, this is going to be a global thing. In our lifetimes, we might even see a $50 million Bitcoin network if you're my age. We'll see. I mean, I'm super convinced about the Bitcoin wealth system being something that I will retire off of. So let me get right into this and not take your time anymore. So if you have options, right? So one of the options that is the foundation of the Bitcoin network is holding a Bitcoin stack in cold storage. So like I just said, Tangent, right? That's a cold storage wallet. Now there's many other options. You have cold cards. You have the Jack Dorsey's company with the BitKey. You have Ledger. You have Arculus. You have all these options. You can get whatever you want, right? And also, if you're interested in Ledger, I can help you out there too. You can get many Bitcoin rewards based off of what you spend. I think it's up to like $80 or something like that in Bitcoin rewards from buying from Ledger. Links are in the description as well for that if you're interested. But all of them have equal security. It's all cold storage, and cold storage means it's completely offline, it's unavailable to hackers, it's directly on the blockchain, and whatever you're viewing in your app for your cold storage wallet is just a display of the blockchain. So if you have settled Bitcoin that is in a cold storage wallet, it means you are safe and protected. So cold storage is the safest way to store your Bitcoin. Now, with this cold storage wallet, this is, one of your choices that you can do. So you can weekly DCA into Bitcoin into your cold storage wallet. So basically this would just mean, again, we're talking about dollar cost averaging. You just buy a certain amount of Bitcoin, whatever it is, and send it to your cold storage wallet on a weekly, monthly basis, whatever your scenario is. This is self-custody. This is your Bitcoin stack. This would be like long-term wealth preservation or protection from like hacks and exchanges and centralization, all that. So you have your big retirement fund in Bitcoin in a stack that is as safe as possible. Okay. So that is a highly recommended. Obviously, I wouldn't be recommending anything to you guys that I don't trust myself. And Ledger, Tangem, I use them myself. You can get those link in the description. So another option that you could have is earning Bitcoin daily. And how would you do this? Now, the only way to do this is without DCAing. That wouldn't even be like getting the Bitcoin daily. That would just be purchasing the Bitcoin on a scheduled pace. But you can get daily Bitcoin from mining exposure. So Bitcoin miners earn Bitcoin every single day. In reality, they earn Satoshis, which is the smaller increment of Bitcoin. And you can earn Satoshis through mining systems every single day. So there are certain options for this. The best option is Go mining, in my opinion, because Go mining is it's an app. It's a major company. They are growing massively. They're creating a big infrastructure and ecosystem for their company. It's an incredible company. They have a card now. They have interest rates holding in your wallet on their platform for USDC, for Go mining, for Bitcoin, and for Go mining tokens. And it's a robust ecosystem. There's many things to do. I also have a video on Go mining, and eventually in the future I will probably create another video on Go mining. But what they do is you have tokenized hash power, and hash power being the thing that actually creates the Bitcoin when you feed electricity into these ASIC machines that mine the Bitcoin. So what happens is you purchase this tokenized hash power in the form of NFTs. So NFTs are the important part here, because what that is a non-fungible token, and it's locked on the blockchain. So you can prove to, let's say, like a court of law, that you own this NFT per se, and then that you are, through this company's policy, you own the hash power, and then you get the rewards from said hash power that earns a Bitcoin. So you can have payouts daily or weekly, 0 fees, as long as your Bitcoin reaches a certain amount. And trust me, it's not that much. It's like $10 worth before you can send the free, no fee Bitcoin within 24 hours to your cold storage wallet from the Go mining app. So what this does is it's an investment that you're earning the greatest asset on the planet every single day. So, for example, right now, my Go mining account earns me about $3.90 something cents daily. Now, it only earns this because I have systems within their ecosystem that help me to mitigate the electricities and the maintenance fees that are associated with Bitcoin mining. So I have to put fiat in there, meaning dollars, into the app in order to mitigate these fees. But what I'm getting back is the best appreciating asset of all time daily. So I'm getting this Bitcoin, and then over time, when the Bitcoin starts to accumulate, and then when the price of Bitcoin starts going up, like it inevitably does, we're at like a yearly pace of like 39% increase every year, something like that over a period of time. So clearly that beats every other investment, but you're getting paid daily in the appreciating asset. So you can see how that would be huge over time. Like, for example, if it was 2010 and you had a machine that could give you Apple stock or Microsoft stock or Tesla stock or something like that, that would be extremely lucrative if you can earn those assets every single day because they appreciate, right? So Bitcoin being the best asset in the planet, why wouldn't you want to earn the Bitcoin every single day, even if you have to put fiat into the system in order to get it back? Because eventually, when the Bitcoin price starts going up due to global asset capture that is already happening, for example, Morgan Stanley, which is a major bank, they are now recommending to their clients a 4% Bitcoin allocation into their portfolio. So that's big, right? That's pretty big. Because that's like many billions, if not trillions of dollars that can, flow into the network. And then that increases the Bitcoin price when more people use it and the market cap goes up. So once the Bitcoin price starts going up, all of a sudden your daily Bitcoin income not having to invest more into the Go mining ecosystem, your Bitcoin rewards are going to be higher because the Bitcoin is worth more and you still have the same amount of hash power. So then you're going to be earning more and more. So like, let's say, for example, if the Bitcoin network 10x's, then instead of making $3.90, I'll be making $39 or $30.90 every day. So obviously that's huge. Then clearly that would destroy the ROI in terms of what I've put into the app, and you're still getting the equity back out of it, or you're still getting the appreciation from the Bitcoin and more Bitcoin every day. So it becomes a compounding system just from whatever investments that you can put in early on if you jump in now, before the Bitcoin price skyrockets, because it's on the way, let me tell you. That's why I like to timestamp these videos with the Bitcoin price, because I want to be able to have a timeline of the Bitcoin network. I think that's super interesting and is super cool. And also, Go Mining has a referral system too. So if you would like to join Go Mining and start earning Bitcoin daily from this robust and amazing investment app that is growing, you can click the link in my bio and you can sign up. And then also, if you decide to buy your own miner, you can use my promo code. Promo code is in the description, and you can get 5% extra terahash on your first miner purchase. But just by signing up for free, you can get a bonus miner that'll start earning you Bitcoin right away for, I believe it's 3-day period. So you can do all that. So that's the second idea, is that you can have daily Bitcoin flow. So it'd be like a Bitcoin income, as long as you can keep up with it, right? Because also over time, you have to invest into the efficiency of your miners, because of the fact that Moore's law exists, and Moore's law means that the computing power of microchips and circuit boards and whatnot increase exponentially each year. So you have to keep up with the advancement. But again, as you're keeping up over time with it using fiat, the Bitcoin price increases and you're earning Bitcoin daily every single day. So it can be super powerful as a daily Bitcoin engine. Now, the third option you can do, and this is the third step of my Bitcoin wealth system, is having equity plus a credit system within that is backed off of Bitcoin. And the way you do this is through the stock market. So obviously you have many options, as I've gone through already. You can have Bitcoin in cold storage and you're just having a dollar cost average to buy it. You can have daily Bitcoin income through something like Go mining. And something I didn't bring up with Go mining is that Go mining is not cloud mining. Even if you Google it per se, and it might say it's cloud mining, it's not cloud mining. You have real Bitcoin mining infrastructure versus a cloud mining app that just has a pile of cash. They're buying into the Bitcoin network, and they are they're giving you a contract that they're assuming that they can mathematically even it all out to be able to pay out the Bitcoin to you while they're buying the Bitcoin and selling it. So it's cloud mining is fake, stupid. Cloud mining is essentially like a credit system, like the debt-based system, like the US dollar is. And it's not great. Go mining is the way to go. It is real infrastructure. You're getting every single day. You're getting the Bitcoin straight from the miners that are producing the Bitcoin. And this is completely transparent. Great company. Love Bitcoin. I mean, love Go mining and Bitcoin, obviously. So on the stock market, you can also have exposure to these different types of Bitcoin instruments. So, for example, there's a company called Strategy, formerly known as MicroStrategy. And one of their executive chair members and founders is Michael Saylor. Love Michael Saylor. Recommend him 100 times to watch his videos and all the things he talks about. He was just recently at the Bitcoin Conference 2026, and there are many videos you can watch of him apart from that. Many podcasts, all the things. The ticker on on Strategy, the company, is MSTR. And it's that because it used to be MicroStrategy. So MSTR, that is the common equity of the Bitcoin treasury company that they run. Now, just to say here, Strategy, I keep saying MicroStrategy, the company Strategy has more Bitcoin than BlackRock at this point. So I'm pretty sure they're the number one holder of Bitcoin in terms of a Bitcoin treasury company. So what you're getting out of them is the equity of the Bitcoin, because you're buying the common equity. As the Bitcoin price goes up, the stock price is going to go up. So that's just as simple as that. There are also other instruments that are credit instruments, and it's like considered digital credit. So what they're able to do is give you equity plus dividends, or just pure dividends, or just pure equity. However you want to do this, because, for example, this is the setup that I have is I own the common equity of MSTR. Okay, that is correlation to the Bitcoin price, pretty much directly. So when the Bitcoin price starts going up, the common equity of the company of Strategy goes up, because that's what equity is. They have a capital asset in Bitcoin on the balance sheet. The company goes up as the capital asset goes up. On the other hand, they have credit instruments. So, for example, something called STRC. Now, STRC, commonly known as Stretch, and the little slogan that they have is called Stretch Your Income. Because what they do is they pay, currently right now, they pay 11.5% dividend yield over the year, and their value of the stock is $100, and they have a plus or minus 1 volatility. So 99, 100, 101, that's all you'll see ever out of the stock price. But you're getting a guaranteed 11.5% dividend every single month, and I'm pretty sure they're working to make it a bi-weekly instead of a monthly. So why not get paid earlier? Like, what's the difference? And that crushes any other instrument. So if you think about like stock market returns in terms of dividends, is like the highest one that you can ever get is probably somewhere like 4 to 6% maybe of a dividend. They're giving you 11.5%. Now, why? It's because they are over collateralized within the Bitcoin network. Also, they're able to give you capital gains, so it's tax deferred because it's capital gain. So you're still going to have to pay an income tax, but it's tax deferred in terms of what the 11.5% of the dividend you can get is. Now, in theory, based off of what this company does, is the price will never go above 100, but they'll continue to be able to bring out this 11%, 11.5% dividend. That is absolutely wild, because if you think about it, what you can do with an 11% dividend is, like, say for example, if you put what, 50,000 or $500,000 into STRC, you would have a steady tax deferred $55,000 a year in dividends. That's craziness. That's crazy. A lot of people have $500,000 in a 401k somewhere that barely gets anything. $500,000 in an ETF somewhere. Doesn't pay much. You're not going to get these kind of returns. I mean, that's crazy, right? That's a complete retirement. There are people who make $55,000 a year, and they own a home and they have a family. This is wild. This is a secure way to retire based off a Bitcoin-backed credit line. So, and there's no risk, essentially, because the Bitcoin network is booming, and we have central banks and banks buying into Bitcoin and companies buying into Bitcoin. Plus, you have a system within the STRC, universe. And I'm not an expert on this, obviously. This is not financial advice. Let me just say that here. But should have said that in the beginning. But this is a steady income stream because there's no risk in terms of they don't actually have to pay back their debts in strategy within the company, because it's through capital of the company. And it's through over collateralized capital because they have tons of Bitcoin, and they're able to pay off these dividends for long periods of time, again, because they're over collateralized. I hope I didn't get any of that wrong, but this is my knowledge, right? So what you're getting out of this is massive yields from your dividends off of a Bitcoin-backed company. But that's the reason why they're able to do this, because why can they give you 11.5% dividend yield per year? Because Bitcoin is growing at a 39% clip a year. 39% a year. How can you beat that? You're not going to beat that with an S&P 500 ETF where you're getting 10% on average, maybe. Plus, on top of that, the inflation. So you're probably getting like a 7% increase, like in terms of like profit. And then you're also getting eaten away by taxes. So there's really no way you can have a dividend retirement that's as effective as STRC. There's really no way. There's also other credit instruments that strategy has. They have Strike. They have Stride. These are other companies, and then Stretch is what I was just talking about. But these other ones have like a mix of dividends and equity. So the price of the individual stock in, let's say, Stride or Strike, not to be confused with Jack Mahler's company Strike, that's completely different. Don't put that anywhere in your mind as the same. This is all still strategy. So they have a Strike fund, they have Stride, and I think they have like 2 or 3 more, including a European one, whatever. But you're able to get the equity plus a dividend rate, but the dividend rate would obviously be a little lower, and then they're having the stock price go up in case you want to have a little bit of exposure to that. But as long as you own MSTR, which is the common equity, you're getting a piece of that equity regardless. So that's just my opinion, where you would own some MSTR, and then you would also own something like STRC, and tax deferred, you're getting a massive dividend, which compound that over 40 years, 11.5% dividend. I mean, come on, that's crazy. So this is essentially the entire Bitcoin wealth system that I've come up with. You have a cold storage stack. You have Bitcoin income from miners. So you're literally getting Bitcoin every single day, and you can send it directly to your cold storage wallet. So you're just stacking up. And then you also have equity and dividends. So it's pretty much like another income, but this is compounding. You can drip it back, which means like dividend reinvestment. You can reinvest it back into Stretch or into MSTR or into other things. And now another another stock that I have is called MSTY. Now, what MSTY is a company called YieldMax. And what they do is they sell options on MSTR, which is the common equity of strategy, like I've said many times at this point. But the reason why they're able to be so profitable and give massive dividends within this MSTY is because you are using the volatility as a technique to be able to capture the gains from the volatility. So let's say, for example, you have a chart. Volatile goes down, buy. Very volatile goes up, sell. You just caught a very big profit margin depending on how much you bought into. Now, as a company and you're trading options on the most volatile network, which is Bitcoin, you can capture that yield and then dish that out as high dividends. So that's what MSTY does. It's a little more like risky, obviously, but you're getting weekly payments from MSTY at a massive dividend yield. So you're able to make a lot of money. Like, for example, just on that single fund, I make like $25 a week. And obviously that's not too much, but compound that over a long period of time, right? So this is the whole Bitcoin wealth system that I love. You have long-term Bitcoin stack, you have daily Bitcoin mining, and you have a cash flow and yield with equity on the stock market, and you have compounding. So, and it's also tax efficient, and it's like long-term retirement because all these things are within a Roth IRA. So it's going to be tax-free once I'm 59 and a half. So I'm 27 right now. That's a long time from now, obviously. And so, do the math. I mean, this is massive compounding that we've never seen before because you guys have parents out there. Maybe you guys have investment accounts. You know about compounding if you know about the stock market and Bitcoin and all. Do the math. This is crazy. This is like 3 times what your parents are dealing with in terms of if they have been smart about their 401ks or their investment accounts, right? So like the whole bigger picture here is that you're not just buying Bitcoin and doing nothing with it. You're creating a 3-step system where you're having it's like a diversification of the instruments and the genius behind Bitcoin. Because if you just hold Bitcoin in cold storage, great, but it's not doing anything for you. Like you would have to sell to be able to like retire on just a stack in cold storage, right? But the appreciation is going to be wild if you're able to hold it for long periods of time. Like I said, if we go from what we're at right now at 78,000 to $1 million to 10 million per Bitcoin, that's a lot of gains, right? So you're building systems here because you can DCA into this cold storage stack you have, plus you're getting daily deposits to your cold storage if you want. If you have enough infrastructure into Go mining, you can get daily yields on Bitcoin, plus you're getting massive dividend gains and equity in your retirement portfolio. So this is a 3-step system that's going to compound and blow up with the growth of the Bitcoin network. And this is why I wanted to promote this to you guys, because I want a world where the money is fixed, right? Fix the money, fix the world. Engineering a better world with Bitcoin. And that's my whole message here. And it's also a peaceful way to do this. It doesn't have to deal with oil rights or different real estate assets and land and going to war over all this shit. It's just stupid, right? So this is my bigger picture of the world of having a better future. I mean, I have kids. I want to be able to have I want my kids to be able to grow up in a world that's not dealing with a credit-based system that's ruining your purchasing power. Like, there's a reason why I can't buy a house right now. There's a reason why I can't buy a house right now. It's because the markets are ridiculous. Like, I don't necessarily make enough money to be able to just buy a house right now. So this is why, either rent or you figure out a way to live and you gather as much Bitcoin as possible. And this is the plan right now. And this is something that I want to expose to all of you guys. So this all begins with curiosity, right? Curiosity into what money even is. There's many podcasts through this. If I were going to recommend 2 books to you to get started, would be The Bitcoin Standard by Saifedean Ammous and The Price of Tomorrow by Jeff Booth. Now, these are incredible books. I'd recommend them to anybody. Also, if you're interested, I have a book. Shameless plug here. It's called Bitcoin for Normal People, and it is currently on Amazon and also on my website in PDF form. So you can get it in paperback or PDF. Links are in the description if you are interested in that. But the Bitcoin network is an interesting beast because it all begins with curiosity. It all begins with wanting to learn about money and provide for your future. It's a peaceful way to do it through electricity and not war. It is the strongest asset we have ever seen. It is a deflationary system. It is decentralized. It is secure, and it'll keep you sovereign. So I wanted to bring up, if you guys have any recommendations of what you want to see on this channel, I'll make it happen. I just need to see some recommendations. So if you want to drop some comments down below and let me know what you want to see on this channel and in the coming weeks, then I will do my best to make all that stuff happen. So this is a long-term plan. It's scalable. You can start with $25 a week if you want. You can start with $25 a month if you have to. This is a system that can scale across, billions of dollars if you want. But obviously, people don't have billions of dollars, and I doubt anybody watching here does. But this is scalable because it's a Bitcoin network. It's open 24/7, and it's a global free market. And we've never had a global free market. We've barely, really not at all ever had a free market in general. So jump in. Again, this is not financial advice. This is just some guy on the internet telling you, but hey, I'm just telling you what's worked for me, and it's changed my entire life and my complete view on the world. And I just believe it's better technology, and it's fixing the world, right? Fix the world, fix the money, fix the world, engineering a better world with Bitcoin. This is my whole mantra here on the Bitcoin Entrepreneurs channel, and I appreciate all of you. I want to spread the Bitcoin network. If you enjoyed this episode, if you enjoyed all this information, I implore you to please hit the subscribe button and also hit the like button, because this just helps out the channel. It helps spread the word of the Bitcoin network. So with all that being said, check out the links in the description if you want to support the channel. I appreciate all of you. I will see you next week on next Saturday, and peace out.